It looks like that we're going to be talking about the city government of Carthage.
Yes, I'm doing a research project to include the city of Carthage in our historical museum, see. And I'll go back after we get the city together and do the fire department, the different elements of the community. And of course, I'm not through searching, but I first want to say thank you to the girls at City Hall that helped me so much yesterday. They have pictures, you know, around the assembly room at City Hall, but that's not all of them. I mean, there are breaks in it, and they helped me get copies of the pictures so I could know who the officers have been through the years. And they are pretty well given from 1950 on, but before 1950 they weren't doing those pictures, and so I'll have to do still some more research from what I've already done. But I thought to share this as we go along would make people aware of what we're trying to do. We're trying to record history for all our people, and it will be in the museum. And we will have a display representing the city, one representing the county, and so this is part of our commitment to get the history going. We know that this city of Carthage was established in 1848 as the county seat of the county, and that's our beginnings. And from that, of course, I ran into one record that came from Austin that said the city now had 350 people.
Okay.
This was back a while ago.
Metropolis.
Yes. So in the early days, it was just a village, of course. And though many people think it was incorporated in 1848, that's not so. In the late 1800s, it was an off-again and on-again incorporation. They would make some kind of a corporation and then decide that didn't work, and they'd close it out, and it would go back to the county. The county was in charge of the city when it was not incorporated. And so actually it was 1913 before a corporation stuck for the city. And from 1902 to 1913, when they adopted a commissioner's form of government in 1913 rather, with Judge Jerry Long as the mayor. And the commissioners in 1913 were R.P. Ashe, J.W. Byrd, and the city secretary was W.W.S. Banks. And then they had mayors that I have looked up from year to year, but the entire commissions, as we know them now, are hard to find. But the girls will help me try to find who served on the commission during those years. But the mayors over those 20 years from the beginning were A.L. Ross, J.W. Byrd, T.J. Wooten. These are names familiar to many people. And Dr. Daniels, Dr. J.A. Daniels, I believe he was the doctor here in Carthage. And then Mr. A.O. Davis. Now, Mr. A.O. Davis was the mayor when we came to Carthage, and all these others had served before his time. Some interesting rules I found that I think are pretty interesting. In 1913, you see these people in charge had to make rules suitable for the time. And they had little rule booklets and that sort of thing. In 1913, there was a ruling made by the City Commission that forbade riding or hitching a horse or a mule or a mare or a jack or a jenny or any other animal on a Carthage sidewalk. Now, at that time, there were no paved sidewalks. They were just trails, you know. But evidently, people had been hitching since they rode to town or drove a buggy or a wagon to town. they'd hitch them along the roadside.
Keep those animals off the sidewalk.
Keep them off the sidewalk
Okay.
so people could walk.
That's switched now. We keep the bicycles and skateboards off the sidewalks.
Right,
Okay.
right, same thing. In 1916, just as the automobiles came in, I was most interested in the term of A.O. Ross's mayoralty. They passed a ruling saying that all persons owning or driving an automobile must have a horn or a whistle, and he must blow it as a signal before he crossed the street with his car on the public square or before he turned a corner, and no corner turn would be made faster than 4 miles an hour.
Those rules are still in effect in Mexico right now.
I think so.
Except turning at slow speeds. I think that
They
they've
turn
increased.
at pretty fierce
But they
speed.
certainly blow the horn a lot.
They blow the horn, and you think they're going to crash. It's not very safe, I think.
But in Carthage, Texas, that was in the law.
In the law, and those laws are still available, but of course we don't abide by them now. First, the things that happened first in this town, of course, can be credited to the city leaders, and if they weren't on the commission, they got word from others about what they had to do, just like they do now, you know. Somebody protests something. Well, during Mayor Wooten's term, the Carthage Book Club paved the first sidewalk, and that's the sidewalk from the square down to the depot.
I'll declare.
Everybody walked to see the trains come in, you know, and that was the busiest sidewalk trail in town. And so there is a block on the right, just as you leave the square going toward the the depot, that gives the record of that. Miss Margie Neal was president at that time, and they built that paved sidewalk for people to walk down so they didn't have to walk in the sand. And that was the first hard surface in the town. Then during Dr. Daniels' term, the streets around the square were paved. That was in 1927. Well, from 1913 and 14 to 1927 was a long span there before they really got the streets paved around the square. And then during Mayor A.L. Davis's term, of course I'm skipping a lot of things, but during Mayor A.L. Davis's term, the community house was built and the swimming pool, and now we have it. After all these years, that's pretty good.
It certainly has lasted a long time.
Yeah, this was in 35, I believe, that was done. And it's lasted a long time.
The creation of Davis Park.
Yes, creation of Davis Park. And the swimming pool and community house. So the progress of the city had come a long way by then. Mm-hmm. But after World War II, the city commission was reorganized. And I have to do further research to see just how that came about. But I again want to express my appreciation to the girls in the city hall, because they made a lot of steps for me yesterday to get some of this information together, and I'm on a roll now, and we'll go with it. It's hard to find a day that I can go, because I started yesterday at 8 o'clock down at the jail, and I'm not committed on Wednesday to be down there, but something needed to be done, so I was. And so to get this done, it takes a little planning. But from 1950, we have pictures throughout 1950. Now, it's not easy to make copies of those pictures. Of course, they're hanging on the wall. Those girls took them down and took them to the copier for me. But they're pretty dark. But at any rate, it's authentic.
You bet.
And that's what I'm trying to get. So 50-51, just to call some names that people might remember. We won't call all of them, but we will have the whole city commission in the records. Everything needs to have at least two places that it's preserved. Now, it's preserved in City Hall, but a lot of people don't see it. Now, we're also going to preserve it in the museum, and that will be a double security that it's, not lost. A lot of it for the beginning of the history is lost already. Well, Gordon Darnell was the mayor in 50-51. Then John Neal. They weren't called mayors then. They were called chairman of the commission. And Gordon Darnell was the first one under the new organization. John Neal then served 51, 52, 52, 53, 53, 54, 3 years in a row. And later on he came back and served another year. All told, he has been mayor or leader. He was chairman at this time. He has held that position 4 years. Then Mr. Patterson, W.F. Patterson, was the mayor, still it was chairman. Chairman from 54 to 56, that was 2 years. And R.A. Fike, I was not aware that, I didn't remember, we lived in Carthage, but I didn't remember, people didn't, they didn't get many votes. People just didn't go out to vote. They're still not too enthusiastic to vote. You see, we had no competition this year. But they must be doing something right, or there
would have somebody running against them.
So R.A. Fike was chairman in 1956-57. Then came Mr. Hebert. Mr. Hebert was chairman in 57-58. And then Vernon Butler. You see, we just don't remember these names. And following him was Fred Jenkins. And there are no pictures available then in the 1960s. But we will research that history and get the names of the people. It depends on, and of course I have this whole stack of pictures that they did for me, and these will verify what I'm saying in the writing, so that these will be permanent in the library. But then in 70, we pick up in 71, 72 with the pictures again, and Ralph Nixon was the chairman. Still, he was the last chairman before they became mayors. Now, so there's a reorganization there that I have to go back and study. But John Neal was mayor now, the first year under the new organization. Then there was a break, and I'll have to look it up for 73, 74, but 74, 75, 75, 76, during the bicentennial, John Kane was mayor. And hanging on the wall is a copy of the Senate resolution for the city during the bicentennial. Of course, I remember that well since I chaired all that.
Yes.
And John, as mayor, was so cooperative. And this is a beautiful resolution introduced by our Representative Adams at Austin and passed and signed by the President of the Senate and the Secretary of the Senate. And it briefly states the history of the county and the city, and then says, whereas it is appropriate that the Texas Senate commend the citizens of Carthage for their diligence in maintaining the rich traditions of the charming and picturesque community. I thought this was a nice way to say it. This was a review for me because, of course, though I was involved in that, you forget, unless you go back and read it. So that took us through the bicentennial era. Then in the 80s came Lee Chapman as mayor for 81, 82. And he served 3 years in a row there, 82, 83, 83, 84. And of course he had a fine team with him. And during that time, Carson Jones was Mayor Pro Tem. And then in 84, 85, Carson became mayor and has been since that time. He's had the longest term of mayorship of anybody. See the clock, so we are running out of time. Carson has been mayor 8 years, and before that, he was pro tem mayor for 8 years. So he's been on the group for 16 years. That's pretty good service for a fellow.
It really is.
And he gives it all he has.
Yes,
so
he
we
does.
can be proud
Yes.
of our team now. And I am just started with this. It's a fascinating thing. And those girls are going to be tired of my pillaging, but we're going to get a copy of the record, so we'll have it in 2 places. And that
well, you'll also help them bring their files up to date
Right,
as well,
right.
and it'll be very beneficial.
Encourage them to do that, and So we're on the trail, and I saw Brody Akins yesterday at the city hall, and I said, "You're next. I'll hit your department next week." He said, "We'll help you all we can."
Oh, and he certainly will.
And they all will.
You bet. You
They
bet.
all will. They appreciate what we're doing.
You know, we look around at our town, our county, as we've talked so many times, and we're blessed with our forefathers
indeed,
that
we
had
are.
such forethought.
Well, these people need to be recorded as responsible for some of the things that we enjoy. And somebody had to make it happen.
You bet.
And it wasn't always easy. Still isn't.
No.
They see something that just must be done, and it may not be a popular movement. And it may take some time for the public to come around to realize that this was a necessity. But our town is definitely better because of people like this that have served.
You bet. They certainly are.
This is volunteer service
At its best.
at its best.
Very good.
Right.
Thank you again.